Councillor Harries.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I'd like to take a few minutes to speak about our city's museums and galleries, if I may. The Capital Strategy Appendix highlights a critical need for nearly £2 million in basic repairs at Aston Hall to maintain the viability of the 400-year-old Grade 1 listed building as a museum. 2 other museum sites are currently closed due to ongoing maintenance issues. The Museum of the Jewellery Quarter, which is the Preserve Smith and Pepper Workshop, and Soho House, the Georgian home of industrialist Matthew Bolton. Since 2012, and on behalf of the City, Birmingham Museums Trust has run our 9 museum sites and been responsible for our collection of 1 million objects, much of which is of national importance and includes the world's finest collection of pre-Raphaelites. But today, you wouldn't be able to visit that art collection or even be able to go into Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery because the Grade 2 star listed landmark building isn't open on a Tuesday. And even though it reopened last autumn, after being closed for 4 years for essential maintenance works, still only a quarter of the 40 galleries are open, and only from Wednesday to Sunday. In fact, there is not one museum building that a Birmingham resident could visit this afternoon. Aston Hall is only open at the weekends and the cafe is closed. The Museum Collection Centre, where 80% of those 1 million treasures are stored, is only open on Fridays for 2 hours. Think Tank Birmingham Science Museum is open from Wednesday to Sunday, as is the 250-year-old Sarehole Watermill, famous for its association with author J.R.R. Tolkien. Yet its cafe and popular pizza courtyard are closed. Blakesley Hall, one of the city's oldest and most historically significant buildings in my own area of Yardley, isn't open at the weekends, just Wednesday to Friday, with no events, no cafe or school parties. How do children in East Birmingham visit that timber-framed Tudor house if they can't go with their school during the week or their parents at the weekend? How is any income to be brought into the museum if it's closed for more days than it's open, with no events offered and the cafe closed? By all accounts, those school parties, at a loss of £50,000 to £100,000 a year, are now going to Selly Manor, which is run by Bourneville Village Trust and is open 6 days a week in the summer and offers us a package of talks, tours and unique venue events. In fact, the only Birmingham Museums Trust site you could visit this afternoon are the 750-year-old ruins at the fortified manor house at Wheeler Castle, presumably because they are outdoor. Funding for the UK arts and cultural organisations has fallen by 18% since 2010, and the government announced rescue funds last month to help museums, theatres and other cultural venues stay afloat and fix crumbling buildings. And though visitor numbers to museums and art galleries are recovering, they remain 25% lower than pre-pandemic levels, which is undoubtedly compounded by the current high cost of living. However, accepting these are pressures across the whole sector, it appears that only museums in Birmingham, along with those in Derby and Hampshire, are giving warnings that they face a perilous financial position with the imminent threat of sale of collections of closure. I had a quick look at 1 or 2 other cities to see if their museums and galleries were semi-closed, but again, it seems to be a Birmingham rather than a sector problem. Wolverhampton Art Gallery, open 7 days a week with a cafe. Liverpool's Walker Art Gallery, only closed on a Monday. Manchester's Imperial War Museum North is open every day except Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. However, considering the city's long lease and service arrangement with Birmingham Museums Trust until 2043, I have to remain hopeful that their year-long, lottery-funded work to scope a sustainable funding model and 5-year plan, alongside the Council's own review of BMT's financial position, delivers some solutions. Those reports are due this month. I urge the Economy, Skills and Culture Overview and Scrutiny Committee to expand its work, currently only looking at the health of our assets, to look at a more rounded interrogation of the financial future and provision of our arts, heritage and culture in the city. Our amendment talks about a small levy on Birmingham hotel rooms, very common in European cities, to raise funds for arts, culture and heritage. I was pleased to see there is some work going on with the culture team on accommodation tourism bid. I was pleased to see the Budget Scrutiny Group have recommended it for the 2nd year running, so I would urge the Chamber to support that in the amendment and for the leadership to take that forward. Edinburgh's visitor levy fee, announced in January, is expected to raise up to £50 million a year, with a 5% fee applied to overnight accommodation. capped at 5 nights, with a key objective to sustain, support and develop the city's culture, heritage and events provision. Thank you, Lord Mayor.